All right, I'm here with Dallin Christensen. He's down in Tucson, Arizona, watching the sunrise and time, even though it's mountain time, my time. We're uh, we're just having a chat about some of the meaningful things in our lives, talking about our spouses and how we connected, and talking about how we found our work that we're doing and some of the stuff that we're trying to do with our work. So, Dallin, I'm really glad that you're willing to come on and talk with me a little bit. So, let's go ahead and ask the first question, man. Let's have your answer. So, what is your definition of darkness and light metaphorically?
So my definition of darkness and light, it's kind of, I guess it might not be so metaphorically speaking. It's kind of the literal meaning of light. But for me, light is energy. And darkness is kind of that absence of energy. And it's kind of hard to describe exactly what I mean with energy, but I think it's the energy of life, the energy of hope, the energy of getting up in the morning and living a purposeful, intentional life. And that's kind of what energy I mean, is the energy of doing.
Yeah.
And for me, darkness is kind of that absence, or just the kind of a blah.
Yeah.
Feeling in life.
So with that definition, have you experienced a sunrise in your life?
Yeah, definitely. So we were talking earlier about how I met my wife and kind of some of the things that attracted me to her, and a lot of that was the energy that she had, and just she was always up for an adventure. But I don't think I necessarily knew. I didn't understand what was driving her, and I didn't know kind of how to live a life with purpose or with energy. And so in the first part of our marriage, I was definitely more of a bluff, and then had a couple addictions, looking at pornography and stuff, and it definitely is blah and not light. It's destructive. Yeah. And I just I didn't have any purpose. I was just kind of going along and just not being intentional with hardly any of my actions. And my wife, who has all this energy and is getting going and wanting to create a family, and we were having infertility stuff and fertility issues, and I was acting out every day when I'm supposed to be abstinent for like 3 days. And that was just like, I'm destroying not only the light around me and my life and who I want to be, but those around me as well. And so that was like the darkest time of my life, for sure. And so then deciding to change, and my wife catching me, that was a big part of deciding to change.
Yeah.
But that decision of like, I'm getting out of this hole. Like, I want to leave this darkness.
Yeah.
And the sunrise I experienced was recovery work, and was learning to live intentionally, having daily activities that I could do that help fill my soul and fill the light, and starting to do those and be intentional with them, and build my life around them. And then it brought a lot more of hope and peace and happiness that I previously didn't have. And so it's definitely a sunrise in my life, an awakening.
Man, that's awesome. Okay, so 2 questions that come to mind. what were some of those things that you committed to doing to make changes? Like, what were you doing daily? And then the other part of it is how did this change how did experience this change? Like, what did that feel like in your relationship? And like, how did that impact your relationship with your wife?
Yeah. So the dailies that I started doing that kind of helped me bring life to my life. So I'm a pretty active person, and so physical activity. I started working out regularly, and so that's been a big part. It's like whenever I'm able to move and get my heart rate up, doing basically whatever, you just make better decisions throughout the day. Like, you make better food choices, I make better financial choices. Like, it's kind of crazy. Literally every decision I make is just better when I exercise. And then another big part is I need to be outdoors regularly. Kind of living an adventurer. Like, I'm a little bit of an adrenaline junkie as well, and so then having regular activities where I can go and, like, mountain biking or snowboarding or horseback riding when I'm in Utah, or hiking and camping and stuff that I can get out and kind of experience nature and that little bit of adrenaline rush. So there's that, and then those are kind of the big things that really fill my bucket and get me going. And then, yeah, dailies. I mean, setting, like, dedicated time, like church, like, so then you have spiritual aspects and recovery work and, like, doing interviews like this. Like, when I'm not living an intentional life, like, it just doesn't happen. And then how it's affected my relationship with Shanda is, I think with that sunrise that we experienced, like, Shanda went into recovery with me, and so she was side by side with me as well. And honestly, like, for our relationship was the best thing that ever happened. I mean, we naturally click, and I think we would be able to get along and be together kind of no matter what, but going through recovery together has made us soulmates. Has made us be able to connect, not just on a personal, like, individual level, but more of a spiritual soul connection. And so, and without recovery, I don't know if we would have ever found that. And it definitely wouldn't have happened as quickly as it did in our marriage. And so, I mean, yeah, just our ability to connect with each other and to live wholehearted, wholesome lives, not only on my part, but on hers as well. Like, her learning to kind of live a congruent life with how she wants to live as well, has just made us both better people. And then the ability to communicate that with each other is really what we learned through recovery and
Wow.
sunrise.
Wow, man, that's pretty beautiful. So what have been kind of the major life lessons or takeaways? Like, if you could sum up everything that you've experienced to be able to share it with somebody else, what would you tell them?
What would I tell others? You know, I have a hard time kind of sharing this. I know I need to be a lot. That's like one of the things that I want to start doing is, like, really opening up these conversations with other people. And I think the big thing that I want to carry is, you know, like, life is good. Life is life is awesome. And so do what it takes to make it awesome. And hopefully by carrying that attitude and that message and that life is good and there's good things out there, hopefully I can make people around me a little bit better.
That's awesome. All right, so kind of transitioning into the wholehearted stuff. So what is your definition of being wholehearted?
So being wholehearted to me definitely goes back to kind of that definition of light and dark, and wholehearted is a little bit of that, as well as being mindful and intentional. And so wholehearted is being able to step into a situation and give everything I have, and to kind of be completely in the arena. And so living wholeheartedly for me is that. So when I'm at work, I'm there. I'm putting my phone away. I'm there. I'm 100% involved. And then when I'm home with my kids, I put the phone away. I'm hanging out with my kids, playing, and giving it my all. And that's what wholehearted living for me is being intentional and being 100% there, and not being more mindful and being 100% there, and trying not to let those anxieties and just daily things that need to get done overwhelm the situation, because those are always there.
Right.
But when you're living a wholehearted life, I think you can prioritize those and then get to them in their proper order.
There you go. So who is somebody that is wholehearted in your life, and how have they impacted you?
So I have a few people. When the easy answer for this for me is my father-in-law, Ryan Larson. He's been a pretty big mentor to me. I started dating my wife when I was 16 years old. So through a lot of my teenage years, he was a pretty big role model for me. And I think I'm a little bit emotional because we just found out he was just diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And so that's kind of been a big thing for us. And so he just attacks life, man. That man works so hard, plays so hard, and he's just been a really big role model for me. And that's just how he lives life. He gives it everything he's got, 100%. But there's definitely he's a big one right now for me. And then, but there's always, thankfully I've always had people in my life who've been wholehearted. From when I was a kid, I was in the Boy Scouts, and my Boy Scout master was the man. He was awesome, and he was definitely a very intentional, wholehearted person. And then in more of my adult life, I've been thankful that I've been able to kind of surround myself with people that that kind of want to live the same way, and so I have several people, and I'm very blessed for that.
I would say so, man. That's really cool to have multiple on your mind like that. So what are you doing in your own life to be wholehearted, and contrast that with, do you have any negative fears or beliefs about yourself that you have to combat?
Sorry, what was the second part?
Do you have any negative fears or beliefs about yourself that you have to combat through being wholehearted?
Yeah. So one of my core about myself that I fight all the time is I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm always kind of having to constantly prove myself. I just recently started a new job where there's a pretty steep learning curve. And so those fears get pounded in pretty constantly. Especially when I make like some pretty beginner mistakes. So for me to be wholehearted, like I know that's a false belief, and I know I have what it takes I inherently have what it takes to like be successful and do a good job. And so to live a wholehearted life I know I have it. It takes energy to put in the work to study and do that little bit of extra outside of work that will make me successful. And so living a wholehearted life is being intentional with my actions of like, I know I have this fear that I'm not good enough and then I'm not going to be good at my job. But I know that if I put in just the tiniest amount of energy with intention, that I'll be able to succeed. Like I know I'll get there eventually. And so I just recently started this new job within the past 2 months, and so that's kind of a big thing on my life right now. But it translates to my relationships with my wife, my kids, the things that are really important to me as well. Like my daughter, my oldest daughter is 7 years old, and she's kind of has a stronger personality. And one of my fears with her is that I'm not gonna have a good relationship with her, or that she'll feel that I don't love her. Where I know that if I put in just a little bit of effort with her and take that little bit of time to actually try to listen to her and spend time with her, that those fears aren't true. Like she'll feel love and I'll be able to have a connection with her. And so, being wholehearted in my life is intentionality. And putting in that little bit of effort and energy into making those priorities and what I think is real in life, or important in life, important in my decisions. Sorry,
Dude, it's awesome. No, you're good. I know. I remember coming out and meeting you and Shanda. Maybe I think it was the first time that I got to meet you guys. You were in Iowa. Is that where you were going to school, or is it Missouri? Maybe one of those.
Yeah, we were in Iowa. I did med school in Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines, that's what it was. Yeah. And I remember coming to visit you guys, and I think Shanda had just had a baby. So it was, I think so anyway. And I remember it being like, that was a pretty big point in your life as far as transitions go and everything. And thinking about how all of that was going to, impact you. But then more than that, coming back, having you guys back in Logan for a little bit and finding out that you're having triplets, that was a pretty wild thing. So what about your journey there? Like how has all that impacted your life and maybe your own belief system?
Oh man. Triplets. Me and Shanda were talking, if there's one word that can describe what it's like to have triplets, it's relentless. Because it is relentless. Yeah, dude. Having one kid is hard. Having two kids is hard. Like life is so relative to like what our situation is and kind of what we're going through. Like having one kid is hard. Like having somebody crying at you and demand things from you, it's hard. It's stressful. Like when a baby cries, like stress hormones are produced. Like it's made to make you stressful so that you'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And when you times it by 3, that's just constant. You know, but even back in Iowa when I first met you and we'd had our second India, I don't think I would have been able to get through that without having gone through recovery first. You talk about darkness. I think that would have been an extremely dark time in my life with just kind of the amount of pressure that medical school was and trying to balance everything and then being away from home with my family for the first time. If I hadn't been kind of living the principles that I learned through recovery, I think that would have been a really, really hard time in my life. But man, when you're living wholehearted and living good, like you're at such a stable place emotionally and physically that you can rise up to challenges, you know, and you can rise up and take care of the important things in your life. And so, you know, people ask us how we do it with triplets, and answer, you just do it.
Oh, man.
Not that there's not some fit throwing and just locking them in a room because you can't take them anymore. That definitely still goes on, but by and large, I feel like we do okay.
Oh man, that's great. You make having kids seem so possible, you know. When we're about to have our second kid, and our first son is starting to have these flare-ups more and more all the time. Like he's got a really high-pitched, shrill scream, and I'm glad to hear that there's a physiological thing that takes place, because I thought it was just me losing my mind whenever it happens. You know, it's like my vision goes blurry, and I just have a hard time thinking. Anyway, I've been wondering, how's this about to go? Throwing in a second one in the mix, and I've heard similar things that you just kind of roll with it. You know, you adapt.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Oh man. But congratulations, yeah, having another one.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the thing with kids is I don't know. So I'm in the medical profession, and so a lot of the people I work with are all professional, driven people, and kind of career first type mentality. And for a lot of them, man, the thought of having a kid is like I've got to have a house that's got a 10-acre backyard, and I got to have the crib set up already, like even before we start trying. And it's like, and I want to tell them, like, there's no good time to have a kid. There's never a good time to have a kid. Like, there will always be something that's like, oh yeah, a kid, but you know, like, family's like there to be with you, like while you go through life, and they're like a big part of what life is. And so I'm always I definitely lean towards have kids sooner than later.
Dude. Yeah. And then they look at your life.
Definitely
and
not.
Like...
I 1,000% would not recommend 3 at once though.
I know. I think people are looking at your life and they're like, "No, I'm never having kids."
Yeah, for sure.
I can't
For sure, man.
handle even the possibility of triplets.
Yeah. If you want to see our life, just follow Shane Dallin on Instagram.
Yeah. Oh man, that's great.
He's pretty good at posting our daily struggles.
I know. The other day I saw a picture your kids were just like messing around in some mud. Everybody's just like covered head to toe in mud. Like that. Yep, that's it, man. That's
Yeah.
great. Dude, so is the sun up for you?
Oh, sorry, there's a plane.
Oh, okay. Is the sun up for you?
Hold on a sec, I can't hear you. I think a little crop duster plane flew overhead. That was pretty loud.
Yeah. Is the sun up for you?
Yeah, it's a little bit cloudy, and so it's not. I can't see it yet, but I see it definitely starting to peek over, and it's turning all the clouds like really red.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And it's gorgeous.
Oh, dude, that's great. We had some forest fires, some wildfires over in Brigham City area, so we've got a bunch of smoke and haze in the sky. So it's funny because I know the sun is up, but it still looks like a kind of a gloomy, cloudy, foggy morning right now. So I think it's up for us too.
Yeah, it's the colors here in Tucson, Arizona are pretty crazy. Pretty tons of reds and yellows and purples with sunsets and sunrises as well.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, Dallin, hey, thank you so much for meeting with me this morning and being willing to not only just meet with me but talk and share some of these harder things that you've gone through. This has been really encouraging and uplifting for me. So yeah, thank you so much.
Can you there you go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, no, man, for sure. I appreciate it. Like I appreciate the opportunity because it's given me a good time to kind of reflect on what's important for me and kind of what drives me and what it really means to be wholehearted. And I commend you guys for the work you do and taking that leap of faith and making it happen because it is a leap of faith to go do it, like to actually put your feet on the ground and walk the walk, right? And you guys are walking the walk, and I look up to you guys a lot. And yeah, you talk about wholehearted people. Everyone involved with like the Love Strong organization and stuff are people that I've looked up to for quite a few years now. And yeah, I'm glad you guys are doing it. And so I appreciate the opportunity to come chat and be a part of it.
Dude, thank you so much. That's super kind of you. I'll have to say that Tyler has always spoken super highly of you. Like you've been an example to him in a lot of ways, and I'm sure from what you're saying, there's some reciprocation there. But at the same time, it's been really encouraging for me to learn about you kind of more firsthand because you're somebody who I know has had a major influence on his life and on the life of his family. Like Rhiannon and Ty and all their girls just love and adore you guys. And I think that's really cool because, they're people that I love and I'm grateful for any kind of good influence in their lives and joy in their lives. So thanks for everything that you've done to help facilitate that for them.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, definitely goes both ways.
All right, dude. Well, do me a favor, send me a picture of your sunrise and take a selfie and send that over to me as well.
Okay. Yeah, will do. Dang, will do.
Awesome, man. All right. Love you, brother.
All right. Hey, appreciate it. Thanks, Chase.
All right. Bye.
See ya.